Hello friends, welcome to part 2 of our session on diva dance. In the last session we understood how to draw the pattern diva dance, and we also drew a tile using the pattern and a few more patterns. Today we will be drawing another tile using the same pattern but a different version. Right? We'll try and introduce some variations and understand how diva dance can also look different, right? Although it is a very beautiful pattern in itself. So I'm Sanyukta and let's start right away. So in front of me is a square regular tile and a simple string which you can see, right? A curved line and an enclosure. So I'm going to start inking one side of this string. Like this, right? And then start diva dance right away. So adding a close aura. Right? And then the third line, again introducing some curves, smaller ones, bigger ones, right? And then going back, and instead of filling it in, let's add some orbs inside. Right? So I'm not inking the space, I'm adding some orbs. Like this, right? Same for the third one. Right? Again an aura. Although bold ink portions are a very important component of the pattern diva dance, but let's see how does the look of the pattern vary. Right? And then again I'm going to introduce one or two shapes here, right? So giving a curl here, right? Coming back and continuing. Again giving a curl. Right, coming back and continuing in the same fashion. Again created a space here to add some orbs. Right, so it's the same pattern, just created a space here to add a hump. Right, again here you can ink it, right? Again here add some orbs, right? Now aura again, aura just the way we do, just that we are going to aura the curl here, something like a printum. You can in fact draw a printum only, right? Again created this space, so you can add some orbs, right? Again some rounding, at the turns, right, some weight here and there, right. Again repeat the aura. Right, you can see how the look is different. Again some rounding at the turnings, right, right. Again repeating the aura. Right, again some bolding portions here, or you can fill up orbs like these. Again some inking here and there. Again you can add some orbs. Right, so again repeating the aura. Going back again. So you can also use a mix of these, inked portions, and as I'm doing here, right. Using a mix of both the things. Right. Yeah. Then again. So let us introduce one more shape here. Right. So this time let us draw something like this. Right. Again a square like shape. You can introduce any shape you wish. Again some bold inked portions here and there. Right. Like this. Again go back. This time include the shape in the aura. Just have to aura whatever shape is there, right. You can introduce any shape. Again aura. Right. Again some orbs here and there. So just enjoy yourself. It's real fun to draw. And how beautiful can auras look? It's a great example. Right. Again you can add some rounding here, add some rounding here, right, little bit here, again some rounding here and there, again repeating the aura, right. So I'll start from this side. I think it's easier. Again repeating the aura. Right, some ink portions here and there. Right, you can see how the look of the pattern varies. Just introducing a few, just filling in small little spaces left between the orbs. If you find, just fill it in. Right, again repeating the aura. Again some rounding here and there. Right, again adding some orbs. Again adding some orbs. Again adding some orbs. Again repeating the aura. Right, some rounding here and there. Right, so I'm going to do this exercise the way I have been continuing. So I'm almost finishing here, doing the same exercise, adding some spaces, some shapes, then adding aura. Right, almost done. So I'm using a mix of these inked portions and some orbs, and have also introduced few shapes in between, right, just to show you how you can vary the look of the pattern. Because it is auras, whatever you introduce in between, you just have to simply keep auraing irrespective of what shape has been introduced. Right, so this is how our diva dance looks today. Now the second part. You can add few layers here also, as if it is continuing. Right, like this, and then I'm going to draw some fescues just randomly, right. We have used fescue as a filler in many of our tiles. If you remember, you go back to the tile on bunzo or on border tangles like X, Y, P and Ls. Right, so just drawing randomly some fescues. left a small highlight, right? And then again continuing the process of auraing, I'm going to aura these fescue closely once or twice. Right? So you can well imagine what beauty can simple auras create, right? I'm again doing nothing but auraing the plain fescues that I've drawn. This is the beauty of Zentangle patterns actually. They have been chosen and designed in such a way, right? So again adding a second layer. Doing the same exercise once again. Right, so I think we can do that one more time, but first I'm going to add some rounding at few places. Right, just inking the corners, nothing else. Just rounding it, adding some ink here and there, right? Right, I think we are done, and then one more layer. I think I'll add one more layer of aura. Now that these auras have started to touch each other, so we have more of closed spaces. Right, so I have added 3 layers of rounding. Now it is going to fill in these spaces with orbs. Right, so we have already done this exercise earlier in a couple of tiles, if you remember, and if you have been following my videos. So just filling in the spaces. Adding some rounding here and there wherever required. So your orbs need not be perfect, that is why they are called orbs and not circles. Just manipulate the shape as per the requirement, right? So again, some rounding here and there. Some inking. Right. So I'm just going to fill up the entire portion with the orb. So I have almost finished filling up the entire section with orbs. I'm on the last part. Right. So done that exercise. Now it is up to you, what do you want to do with the rest of the tile. If you want to keep it simple, since we have had a lot of organic patterns, let us draw simple line based pattern here so that it looks different from the rest of the tile, right? So I'm going to create these sections here. Right, and then add the pattern wells inside it, but with a twist. I'm giving these a coffered look, something like decks, right? This is how we draw the pattern decks also. What we do in decks is we first draw the squares and then join the corners with the intersections, with the four corners of the bigger square, right? So this is a kind of decks only. Or you can give, say that I'm giving a coffered look to the squares that I have drawn, right? So many of the tangles are pretty overlapping, so it's okay. So you can see what you do in decks is first draw these squares and then join the corners to the corners of the bigger square, right? That is what we do. We recently learned the pattern decks. Right, again the same. Since we have already drawn a lot of lines, so trying to minimize it now, right? So I have created these sections, and now what we can do is add the pattern wells inside, right? Already learned this pattern earlier, just adding that pattern inside, and from here almost till the end, right? So you've already learned this pattern, right? I'm going to fill it the same way. So I have drawn the pattern wells in all those sections, and what I am doing now is just adding straight lines to the leftover portion. You can either ink it or leave it the way it is. I'm just adding some lines to the portions left after drawing the pattern well. Right? Just straight lines. That's about it. Right. So let us now start shading our tile. So as far as this portion is concerned, I am just going to add some thick graphite at the edges. Just a few lines. Right, and then smudge it. Just make sure you don't cover up the entire thing and leave a portion white in the center as a highlight. So I added some thick graphite at the edges, almost colored the entire thing, just leaving a small highlight in the center. Right. As far as the divadance is concerned, as I told you, you can either choose places where the curls are repeating. Just highlight those places where the curls are repeating. Don't add too much graphite, just at few places where you think the curls are repeating. Right, it's already inked, so you need not do much. Right. Some graphite here and there, probably at the edges. Just to highlight the highs and lows, the curves, right? Some graphite here. Right, and then our wells, graphite at your four corners. Right. And just a touch at the folds. Right. So now let us blend it. I'm just going to bring it toward the center without covering up the whole thing, right? Like this. Just make sure that you leave a highlight in between and don't cover up the entire space with gray, right? That's the basic idea. Yeah, and just a touch the places from where the leaves look to be folded. The graphite on your tortillon is enough for that. Spaces are small. Right? Yeah. So some white charcoal at the center. Right, and some in betweens where you have not added gray, you can add some highlight here and there, right? Yeah, that's about it. Just a little zen here and there. Right, so this is how our finished tile looks. So I'm now going to initial my tile, right, and sign and date it. And we'll meet again in part 3 of our session on diva dance. Till then, stay safe. Have a good time. Bye-bye.